A new interesting demo of a classic survival horror game has popped up recently that might be worth checking out under the name of Sanguine. I will leave links down in the description to the Steam page and itch.io page that you can go and check it out, which presents itself as a classic survival horror experience. While the game utilises full 3D visuals, it uses fixed or dynamic cameras with tank controls to mix up the gameplay that will appeal to fans of games from the PS1 era, with the plot taking place with a young woman waking up after being involved in a car crash, suffering with amnesia, and is injured on the outskirts of a small rural town where she must find her way through to find help. But she quickly finds that all is not well within the town itself, as there are various monsters and people that are being possessed or being inhabited by unknown creatures that are literally turning them into like bloodthirsty entities and vampire-like creatures. And you'll notice as you progress through the story with the demo, there are like these bugs that are slithering around, and they usually inhabit people once they've been injured or say if they're dead, and then it brings them back to life as bloodthirsty monsters. So you'll have to find anything that you can use at your disposal in order to try and defeat the enemies and survive, which in a typical survival horror format, you'll have to explore many different locations, solve puzzles, find ammo, health items, and anything you can to help you survive and progress. But you do also have access to the typical formula with inventory systems and storage boxes that'll help you to organise your items that you'll need in order to progress. It's an interesting title that, yes, is still in early development, and it does come with its own variety of bugs and glitches, the controls being a bit fiddly to get used to, but I think that's just the tradition of these style of games, is they try to replicate that original style. But hopefully the game will be more refined upon later updates. The game is very dark and atmospheric. It has decent graphics that does reflect that old school style, that'll see you walking around different forests and roads, even to like a dino, and different areas that are just literally just in disarray, where you usually have specific objectives, sometimes even being caught in an area that you can't get out of until you're able to defeat all of the enemies to acquire an item needed in order to progress, which won't be an easy task in itself. I found myself playing through the game because with the controls it can make it a little bit cumbersome to a degree, and I found that I died quite a bit, so I had to retry it quite a few times. But it's like anything else with a lot of these games, there is a lot of trial and error involved that is required in order to figure out what to do. Plus there's a lot of backtracking, because a lot of the puzzles you won't be able to solve them straight away. You'll usually have to come back to them later on once you've acquired different types of items in later stages. But again, it's another interesting title that does reflect classic survival horror, and with the abundance of titles that are available in the modern landscape, there really is no shortage of experiences that you can try. You can literally have your pick. But would I recommend you give it a try? Yeah, definitely. Although just be warned, it might crash on you every so often. It is buggy, it is glitchy, but it's definitely worth playing. Yet this is just but one of many games of this style that are starting to pop up in recent times, with a lot of them that we still have yet to look at, which this next video will provide, where we will dive behind the scenes of even more interesting titles of this style, so you might want to check it out.